You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
What do you? I got to get used to that. It's not even a rejoinder. What is it? It's a here's your intro. Hey, you're on.
Maybe I'll see that. There's like that one that's halfway through the show all the time.
Oh, yep.
The funkier one that's like 10 seconds long. You guys is about double that time. I'll see if I can maybe start swapping those out.
All right, so the show has started. Tom Barnard Podcast, and of course, a couple of stupid bitches with me. Wait a minute, I thought it was Stephen A. Smith for a second.
So at least we're not fat bitches.
Yeah, you're not fat bitches. That's exactly right. So we were talking about this briefly. I said, whoa, wait, hold up and tell me this on the show. Because, well, Stephen A. Smith, has he ever gotten along with anybody?
Briefly. Usually he'll get along with somebody for a while and then kind of kick him to the curb. But right now, his running mate is Shannon Sharp on ESPN. And those two seem to get along really well.
Yeah, Shannon Sharp and he are on the same. And it's just what is it? What
so
is it on ESPN?
Yep, it's ESPN. It's called First Take. Essentially, they just argue
okay.
sports or talk sports all day. And there was a guy that used to be on the show kind of regularly with Stephen A. named Jason Whitlock, who recently kind of questioned if, ESPN had kind of propped up Stephen A. Smith as kind of their quota for having a black guy on TV.
Oh,
he's a plant and he's not really that talented. His history of his upbringing, how he got here, isn't what it seems. And so Stephen A. kind of fired back one day on his podcast and is just deadpan looking into the camera and calls him. He's like, Jason Whitlock, you fat bitch. Like it just went on this huge tirade of how he's not a fan.
See, I love that stuff so much. You fat bitch, he says on international television.
Yeah, and you couldn't I kind of credit Pat McAfee for having this new wave of people just being able to say whatever they want on TV because his podcast, I was watching it on ESPN and they're like, shit this and bullshit that. And ESPN seems to have relaxed a little bit on what they allow.
Yeah,
no question.
Just to clarify too, I think this was on his like
podcast.
side podcast. So it's not broadcasted on ESPN, the actual channel, but this is it's live on YouTube and multi-stream. Here's a little bit of the audio just to give you a taste of what was.
Oh, love it.
I hate this bastard. Not even far more than a little bit. He is the worst human being any of you will ever meet. You get within a mile of his presence. Wrap your arms around yourself to protect your soul. He is Cain. He is a devil.
Cain wasn't the devil.
The worst. I hate.
Yeah. That was, and that's the PG portion of what was going on.
Yeah. He not a big fan. They're not going and sending you away Christmas cards.
I'll tell you something by his delivery and his cadence. That whole thing is fake.
Yeah, it definitely was
fake.
Yeah.
Yep. Just the way I talked to the man just yesterday. Well, who are you, Marlon Brando? I mean, settle down, Oscar winner. No, that whole argument's fake.
There's a guy on Fox Sports that he does like a show by himself, but the whole thing, there's not one stumble over any word that he says.
Yeah.
And I'm like, sounds like the most produced sports takes. It's, oh my God, I think it's Arnie something but yeah, it's like you can tell when something isn't real. But there's a couple moments in there where he at least goes off script and gets a little worked up because he starts screaming into his microphone.
Yeah, well, that's much better than the whispering. Yeah, the whispering part is not real.
Here's one more short clip for you.
Okay.
You betrayed me. Did you tell the folks that? You bitch. Did you tell them? You fat piece of shit.
Ooh.
Did you tell them that? Got the names. We got Jamel Hill. We got Howard Bryant. You want me to bring up the other writers that would have?
Yeah, it was an hour of just him looking deadpan into a camera and just insulting Jason Whitlock, and it was pure art. It was pure art.
For an hour, he did that.
Yeah, if there's one thing that Stephen A. is good for, is to take things maybe a step too far and really milk.
I can see that. I can see he might do that. I tried watching him in the past, and he's just way too. And this is hard to believe that somebody be too negative for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's too negative. He's good in spurts. There are times where he feels almost like a little bit of a character of what he thinks he should be doing on TV. But when you get him to kind of more give you his intellectual ideas and not just scream, then he's a little bit more tolerable.
You know, the only reason that struck me immediately, because back in the day when the Q morning show blew up sky high, there were guys on other morning shows in town. I want to challenge Barnard to a fight. I'll meet you right on middle of Hennepin Avenue. It's like, shut up, you candy-ass loser. Jesus. Yeah, I'm sorry, you got a .08 share. You got no shot, so shut up.
Yeah. And if they did fight, I think I would just pick Jason Whitlock because he's bigger. Stephen A doesn't come across as the type of person that's going to beat anybody up in any dark alley.
No, is Pat McAfee as big as he looks on television?
No.
No,
I'm not sure how big he is, but I mean, he was a punter in the NFL. Who those guys typically aren't that big, but he definitely does work out because he's a little bit more jacked than he was back in the day.
He's 6'1", 233 pounds.
Well, that's a pretty big guy. 6'1", 233.
For a punter, I think that's pretty big.
Yeah, and he's not fat, so there's probably a lot of mostly muscle.
He does WWE stuff. Like he's like genuinely athletic for a punter.
Oh, that's nice. He's good for a punter. I mean, other than that, does he always stand up to do his show, Pat McAfee? I thought so. Yeah, that's why maybe he looks so big because he's always standing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's a pain for him if he could have a wireless mic and just walk around their studio.
Yeah, because he does the earbuds, the wireless earbuds instead of having whatever. So yeah, he's a very animated guy and wants to walk around and be mobile.
So I went for a walk this morning very quickly. I know we got to go in about a minute here, but got to go to break. But went for a walk this morning, and when you walk in where I walk, you can run into some homeless people. Once in a while, there are a bunch of tents set up, and once in a while, they're just sleeping on park benches and stuff like that. Honest to God, I'm walking this morning. There's this guy, and he's talking to himself. But I walked past him anyway. You don't bother. And this guy didn't bother me. It's just what he said was a bit unsettling. As I walked past this man who's got all of his belongings in the world next to him on the park bench. He's got the blankets and what looks like a pillow. He's got all of his personal belongings he has with him. One little, those little, roller suitcases that you roll up, they're smaller.
Yeah.
As I go by, he goes, hey, man. I said, yeah, what's up? And he goes, Merry Christmas. I'm like, okay.
Just Merry Christmas to you too, sir.
Absolutely. It's exactly what I said.
And Happy New Year.
And Happy New Year 2025. By the time, Merry Christmas on January 18th. So it's only 3 weeks off, but,
I'll spin zone that. He's staying in the spirit.
That's true. I like it.
I wish more people had that because we talked about this. I want to say a week or two ago. As soon as January 26th or January 2nd or it's December 26th, all of that festive, crap, throw it out the door. Everybody's at each other's throats again.
Yep.
Yeah, that guy's in the spirit. I like it.
He just really loves Christmas, and he's getting a jump start for next year.
Yes,
no question about it. So he should get a jump start on life, is what he should do. Maybe little income coming in. That'd be good. We have to take a break. Be right back in a couple of seconds. Judd Zulgad will join us right after this. You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful. Someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor. Call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. You'll be glad you did. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk, of course. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. I'm Tom Barnard, and I'm a paid endorser.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank my listeners for all your continued support. You've been great to them. To thank you, they're having an overstock clearance and new product sale going on right now for the best prices ever when you use promo code TOM. You get free shipping on your entire order. Get 50% off the MyPillow 2.0. Also get 50% off the brand new flannel sheets that just arrived and won't last long. 6-pack towel sets they sell for only $29.98. What do you think of that action? And take advantage of the free shipping on larger items such as mattresses and mattress toppers, 100% made in the USA, on sale for as low as $99.99. Everything is on sale, from the brand new kitchen towels that have the same technology as the bath towels that actually absorb, dog beds, blankets, couch pillows, and so much more. To get the best specials ever, go to mypillow.com or call 800-516-5146. Use promo code TOM and you get free shipping on your entire order. So call 800-516-5146 or go to mypillow.com and use promo code TOM.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Would you stop playing that long intro? It's just too long. I mean, it's got to be at least, 2.5 seconds?
Yeah. Something like that, right?
And with the shorter show, it just eats way too much time up.
It really does. There's no question about it. I guess I just suck it up and forge ahead. And,
I was just so eager to get Judd on the screen. That's all it was.
Well, I mean, when you got a looker like that, you got to put him up on the screen for all the chicks and guys and whatever.
Oh, God. Yeah, no question about it. I mean,
it's a
especially
given.
This morning.
Ladies and gentlemen, Judd Zulgad, SKOR North. What's the latest?
Well, the latest is that the Timberwolves went to Detroit. I think they were favored by 20. They won by about, 10 points or so. But the Timberwolves are our greatest hope, Tom Barnard. I've decided that. There's no question about it. Among the 4 men's major sports teams that we follow here, the Minnesota Timberwolves, believe it or not, are your greatest hope for a championship, which is a bizarro world.
It is true. I still do not understand how in the state of hockey you've never won an NHL championship. How the hell is that even possible?
Well, remember when the North Stars were here from 67 to 93, remember we hadn't coined that cute little term yet. That was a Wild creation, the state of hockey. Really? That was created by the Wild in 2000 as a genius marketing ploy, partially because Hockeytown, Warroad's been referred to as Hockeytown, USA for years and years, but Detroit actually, I think, took it for the Red Wings as far as Hockeytown goes. So we have only really been the state of hockey since 2000. Nonetheless, you're exactly right. It is unbelievable that they have not won.
It is
one Stanley Cup.
I got lucky because back in the day when the morning show blew up and all that stuff, I get a call one day from Lou Nanny's secretary. He's president and general manager of the Minnesota North Stars at the time. He invited me to dinner up in the owner's suite. Catherine and I went. And Louis and I have been very, very good friends ever since. His whole family, Tino and Michelle Lettieri, all of his children. I didn't even know anything about hockey. I didn't even know hockey existed until I got that call from the North Stars.
Really?
North Minneapolis, not a lot of hockey going on up in North Minneapolis.
I guess not, but I mean, it's not like you were in a rural part of the state. I would have thought that being a kid growing up here that you would have at least been exposed to it. But Louis is. I mean, he's a great guy. And is there a better salesman for the game?
Oh no, he's phenomenal. There's no doubt
he's
about
great
that.
at it.
And he did his last year for the tournament this year. Is that correct?
He's going to do his last year. Yep.
Yeah,
So in
that's what I
March,
understand.
this will be it. Now, in fairness, I remember doing a story when I did the TV sports column for the Star Tribune. I remember doing a story. It must have been 40 something years where Louis guaranteed that was his last one. So
Yeah.
we'll see. I think he's threatened to leave that post a few times before. So hopefully he again decides, what the hell, I'll come back.
Yeah, he still does a lot of traveling, man. He's all over the United States. It's unbelievable.
And he's what, 82, 83?
82, yeah. He's 82. I think he's still 80. You might be right. He might be 83 now.
He's fantastic. I mean, he travels a ton, and his commentary on games, he does a very, very small package of Wild games on Bally Sports North as well. He is one of, if not the best, easily.
Well, he's so emotional about it, too, on top of it. It's just... Well, I told you that story. I was sitting there with Jack Euster's wife, who ran Musicland at the time. I was a voiceover guy for Musicland at the time. So we were invited to sit in the owner's suite with Louie. And she, Jack Euster's wife, is sitting between me and Louie. And Louie is kind of pretending to pay attention, but he's actually watching the game.
Of course.
I could tell. She couldn't tell, I don't think. But wide open shot, wide open net, hit the pipe and did not score. And Louis went, F, at the top of his lungs. Only it was the whole word, not just the F.
Of course it was. Of course it was. Do you know in 2024, if you go back, especially with like coaches and executives in sports, Tom, how many HR complaints would be filed now from like what we saw in like the 70s and 80s? I once was in the Met Center press box for a Blues North Star game, and I kid you not, the Blues GM was a guy by the name of Ron Caron. Great little Frenchman, okay? Mm-hmm. He spent the whole game, and he's in the press box, so it's not like a suite. It's not like he's not away from us. He's like right by me. He spent the whole game pounding on the table and swearing and dropping the F-bomb. And the Blues had this defenseman. His name was Glenn Featherstone. And Caron clearly hated him. And he spent the whole game. Every time Featherstone was on the ice in a French accent, he's yelling, effing Featherstone. And he's pounding the effing Featherstone. And he's pounding the table. It's unbelievable. I mean, this guy was a walking HR issue now. And back then it's like, that's just Ron Caron.
You know, you're absolutely right. I'm thinking back at all these different things that I've heard managers and, superiors to other people say. If you said that stuff these days, your career would be over.
Oh,
The locker room talk back in the day, and just
yeah.
on sports in general, would probably get a lot of people canceled, fired, just put in the ground today.
No question about it. It's, I don't know. I hate to, I can't say that we're really lucky to have the sports teams we have in Minnesota. We won 0 Super Bowls, won a couple of major league titles with the Twins. Thank God for that. Herbeck had to carry the whole team both years, but you know what I'm saying. I only say that because I have to put up with them every Friday, starting again in just, couple of months, I guess. I
would love to hear, and I'm sure you have, Tom. I would love to get the old stories about in their heyday as players and partiers, Herbeck and Gaetti.
Oh God. Oh yeah. I love both those guys. I haven't seen Gary in years. Gary and I became really pretty solid friends. I haven't seen him in a while. Herbeck, I just love, like I said, when I would go in that locker room and everybody in there hated my guts because I went at him pretty hard. Herbeck's the one guy. Hi, Tommy. How you doing? Just to be a pain in the ass. Which I thought was really funny.
Yes.
But yeah, I did find out, I didn't realize this because, what it is and the whole situation, but athletes don't like it when you criticize them.
Oh, no. No, they don't. They don't. Now, what I did find out when I was covering the Vikings, this is probably around 2008 or so, what I did find out is that there had been a definite transition, though. Mm-hmm. Athletes now, unless they're like from here, okay? But athletes now, if they are just a guy that, signs as a free agent, gets drafted from elsewhere, the only thing they really consume now, national shows. ESPN in particular. They don't care about the Star Tribune. They don't care. They don't even know who, covers them from the Star Tribune, the Pioneer Press, like our podcast and stuff. But back in the day that you're talking about, and especially the reach of that KQ show, yes, I am sure everyone was acutely aware of any criticism. But what they should have been aware of was you were the greatest PR machine in the history of that team, because your criticism also was your passion. I'm willing to bet you sold more seats in that stadium back in the day than the Twins ad campaign sold.
Do you think Carl would send me a check?
Well, that family, you should just ask them all. You should just say, hey, you know what? I don't care which one of you signs it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Anybody can sign the check. That'd be fine. That works.
Bob, Jim, Joe, don't care.
But I got to be honest with you. I adore the Twins to the point, because it wasn't phony, unless anyone thinks it was true. I really did love the Minnesota Twins from 1961 right through to that day in 1987. Then again in 91, of course. I absolutely loved the Minnesota Twins. I always will. So it was not just, running my mouth to run my mouth. I truly believed the things that I said, and that team frustrated me at times. It was unbelievable. And one of my favorite things about that team, I'm going to show you. So now I'm Gene Mauch. I'm going out to the mound. So you guys are me in the second row behind the dugout. Okay? Mm-hmm. So he goes out there and he's, pretty pissed off at the pitcher, but he leaves him in. And as he comes back, he looks up and sees me. And then he looks down and walks in the dugout doing this. Gene Mauch used to give me the finger like every game.
Did he really?
Yes. It was I thought it was. Never met him in person. I heard he's a great guy, though. That's what I understand anyway. But I love that about my history with that team, because there is no bigger fan of the Minnesota Twins than me. And so you piss me off, you're going to get criticized. That's just how it is.
Yeah, I know. But it was great because it was you doing that also put them in the conscious of the fans. And I mean, that team, for what? Up until 87, aside from that terrible end to the pennant race in 84. I mean, that team had been absolutely atrocious. So how long did you have season tickets then combined from the Met to the Metrodome?
Oh my God. I must have had season tickets for well over 20 years. I mean, well over 20 years. It was unbelievable. But now aren't season tickets like $100,000 a piece or something?
Yeah. And you have to sacrifice one of your children to
get them.
To get them.
I got to run this by. I was just sent an email. There's a story apparently in the Star Tribune this morning about a town in Minnesota named Long Prairie, Minnesota, and they're going on and on. They're having all kinds of problems, and there's a beef plant there, and the downtown area, they shut down the movie theaters. A lot of businesses closed, so there's a battle between the newcomers to the town. But they describe in the article, according to this guy, that people from Long Prairie tend to be judgmental, ornery people, right? Mm-hmm. Guess who was born in Long Prairie, Minnesota? That'd be me.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I did not know.
Yes, I was born in Long Prairie, Minnesota.
So it's not your fault, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I got out of town. They were too ornery for me. I had to leave. But I've never been described as ornery, have I, in the Star Tribune? Never. Like every article, he's still ornery, I just love that. Look, Long Prairie, great memories. My grandparents, my mother and father my mother was born in Browerville, along with who else?
Tom Brady?
Tom Brady's mom.
There we go.
That's right.
That's exactly right. A town of, I believe at the time, 200 people. So we're probably related. We're both Tommy B, so it's close. But no, I just love the fact that he sends it over. Look where you're from. You're not the only ornery bastard from there. Apparently you all are ornery bastards that are from there.
I would be curious if Long Prairie was known for that before or after you were born.
Good point.
Yeah.
You think it was pretty even keel until that November day?
Yeah, right.
Is that what you're saying? You have to remember one thing, though. When I was born, there was some orneriness going on and some screaming and yelling going on the day I was born. Because when I was born, I was 23 inches tall and weighed 11 pounds.
Wow.
My name is Thomas because they thought I was twins. They thought I was two people. I was so big. But my friend Mark Merrill's passed me by. He was 2 feet tall and weighed 13 pounds.
Jesus.
Holy
13 pounds?
13 pounds. Mark Merrill's, I love you, pal. Yeah, those are big children. Now, in order to judge how women handle this whole thing, what do you think it would feel like to poop out a turd that was 23 inches long and weighed 11 pounds?
I want no part of that.
I'd be ornery too. We have found the problem in Long Prairie. The women are ticked off, and they should be.
No doubt about it. No question about it. But hey, let me pass along. I spent matter of fact, I was just in Long Prairie about a year and a half ago to visit my Aunt Mary Ann because she had turned, she was in her 90s. And I knew she wasn't going to be around. And I'm so happy I went over there and visited her at the Long Prairie retirement home. She passed away a couple of weeks later. It was, the memory. Do you have memories of your neighborhood or town or whatever where you grew up?
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
great memories.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do too. Long Prairie, I love you. I know we're all ornery bastards and judgmental as hell, but that's who we are. So just the way it goes. And thank you, by the way. Somebody just sent me Neil Justin's last article on me. It starts with, he's still ornery.
Did it?
Wow.
So thank you, Neil Justin. I appreciate that. Anyway, back to the topic, because we only got about 1 minute left. What else should we know about sports today?
The Wild plays tonight, and they're starting a 3-game trip, which is a tough one because they're playing Tampa Bay, which is a good team, Florida, and then Carolina. So it's going to be – they finally won a game. They beat the Islanders 5-0 on Monday, but I still think their playoff chances are remote. The Wolves, everyone complained, right? The Wolves aren't on national TV enough. They're not on national TV enough. Well, they are tonight. The game is at Target Center against Memphis, and guess what? Because it's on national TV and it's the second game of a TNT doubleheader, it starts at 9:00. So everybody, shut up about the Wolves not being on national TV. We want them to start at 7. We don't care if they're on national TV. This is what happens in the playoffs, and for really good teams. You, especially in the Midwest, you get treated like the West Coast. So just be quiet. Keep your opinions to yourself. Let's keep the Wolves off national TV, and let's keep home games at 7:00. Thank you very much.
I love your call. It's a great call. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, try not to be so ornery in your answer, would you please? Where are you from? Like Browerville, right next to Long Prairie? Is that
Hey, listen. I was born in Hollywood, California, sir.
You were?
It all makes sense now.
Yep, my parents lived in California for years, and then shortly after I was born, they moved to Baltimore. Yes, I was born in Hollywood.
One of my favorite, Michael Jordan. Was it Michael T. Jordan? Michael J. What? The
Michael
actor.
B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan. Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan. Oh, okay.
Michael B. Jordan's in studio one time. I'm talking. Great guy, just a really nice guy. I said, man, tell me a little bit. I've never been to Baltimore. He goes, you don't want to go to Baltimore. I said, why not? He goes, man, it's really rough there. I said, well, yeah, but where? And he goes, you ever heard of the East Side, North Side, West Side, and South Side? All 4 places. They're horrible. So I didn't go to Baltimore. I've never been in Baltimore.
Really?
Never have. I've never been in Baltimore. It's one of the few cities in America that I've never been in.
Oh, I like it. It's got some bad parts, but I like it. It's got character. It's got a lot of character. Camden
Yards, phenomenal, I heard.
Yes. Love Camden Yards. The harbor there is fantastic. There are some bad parts. In fact, I was once with a friend walking from Camden Yards to Fells Point. And we asked the bartender near Camden Yards for directions. And he said, okay, you go here and you take a right. And then he stopped and he said, and don't miss the right. Basically said, if you go straight, you're dead. I said, okay, thank you. See, this is character.
I love it, man. Always enjoy our conversation, Judd. I'll talk to you again on Monday, correct?
Tuesday. You got Phil tomorrow.
Oh, that's right.
Monday,
tomorrow,
and you got me on
Monday.
Tuesday. But I shall return then, you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, bye-bye.
Judd Zulgad, SKOR North, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, whenever we have a day off like we did on Monday, for some reason my brain just can't grasp it. You'd think it'd be pretty easy, but
Throws me off.
Yeah.
It does throw you up in a good way, I suppose, because you got a day off, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
We shall take a break, be right back. Some other guy from Channel 5, I can't remember his name, but we'll have him on right after. It's Craig something or Gregory or what is it?
I think it was Gregory. I think you nailed it. Yeah.
Gregory Egert? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get to it. You know the song Kokomo, it's supposed to be off the Florida Keys, right? Hate to break your Beach Boys bubble, but that's a fictitious place they made up for the song. Fortunately for the rest of us, the Florida Keys island chain are as real as the taxes you have to pay in Minnesota if you're a resident. Now that's a reason to move south. In addition to Florida and all of Monroe County being beautiful, the Keys from Key Largo to Key West are even more beautiful, and I'm telling you the truth there. This is Tom Barnard, part-time Florida resident myself, and if you want a second house or a new retirement home or want to become a Floridian, may I suggest you contact Matt Carlson from One Key West Realty. Matt grew up in Litchfield. He's a super real estate agent. When it comes to finding your tropical island space in the Keys, he lives there and here, and Matt knows what's best in Key West to buy for your second home in Florida. Matt teamed up with fellow Minnesotan from Sartell and Alexandria, Kristyn Eklund, who's one of the top mortgage brokers in the country from Coast to Coast Mortgage. Should get you the financing you need to buy a home in Florida or in Minnesota. Matt's part of the Lake Sotheby's International Realty Group here in Minnesota, and Kristyn, his mortgage colleague, I said colleague, lives and works in the Keys, so they both know the Florida Keys' new and existing homes for sale. And are Minnesotan through and through. Contact them by heading to onekeywest.com. That is onekeywest.com. You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation, 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That is 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did. And tell him his guy, Tom, sent you.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
And don't you forget it, Buster. Hey, it's a new year. Why not treat yourself to a new gun from K&L Surplus and Ammo? I personally know Jim, the owner. He's been in the firearms business for over 15 years and knows how to set you up with the perfect firearm for your needs. K&L offers one of the widest selection of firearms in the region, including Beretta shotguns and Tikka rifles. High school trap teams are starting to form now, and K&L has a great selection of SKB shotguns. K&L has Tikka and SKB, both right and left-hand models, by the way. K&L also has a broad range of ammunition, including both American and European calibers. If you have a collection of guns that you'd like to sell, call Jim at K&L so he can help you get the best price through his network. K&L Surplus and Ammo is on Lake Drive in Lina Lakes and open Tuesday through Saturday. You can also visit them online at www.klgunstore.com.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Oh, my God, that thing goes on and on. That has to be at least 3 seconds long, that rejoiner, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Welcome back. That's the whole thing. Welcome back. Chris Egert, ladies and gentlemen, Channel 5's Chris Egert is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation, 952-925-5608. Chris Egert in the news. Do you have any good news? Oh, you know what I've been doing, Chris?
Yes.
So I watch the local news. That's one thing. One thing I really like about streaming is, the matter of fact, if you're in a hotel room in Chicago or you're in New York and working, or you're in Florida or you're in Minnesota, you can get Channel 5 anywhere you go.
We're available on the entire universe on the World Wide Web.
The World Wide Web, man. But I'm talking about on streaming television.
Yeah.
You can get Channel 5 whatever town you're in. You can get it if you know where to look.
Yes, sir.
It's, which I love, by the way, because it's got that home feeling and all the rest of it.
I like that. I also kind of like watching depending on where I'm at, watching and critiquing the local news too. You kind of did it. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
Probably do the same thing with radio stations, right?
Oh, yeah. I remember as a kid going and we stayed in a hotel and you would turn on the local news and you'd be in some small city or whatever area, and the camera quality's terrible. It's like it really made you really appreciate how good we had it here in Minnesota.
Right.
I like that. That's a good call. I like that a lot, as a matter of fact. Yeah, it's a whole different stuff. One of my favorite stories of all. And by the way, when I moved to New York City in 1982, I think it was 82. I can't remember. But Catherine and I moved to New York City because I was doing voiceover. Matter of fact, for Howard Stern's agent, Don Buchwald.
Really?
He and I had the same age. That's why Howard and I have never gotten along. But in any case, well, first of all, Howard can't do endorsements. He's terrible at it. But in any case, moving forward, God, I sounded like Stephen T. Smith
Steve
or whatever.
May. Yeah.
Yeah, talking to that son of a bitch. But anyway, now I forgot what the hell I was talking about. Oh, so I went to New York.
Mhm.
Catherine and I believe 20th Street and 2nd Avenue, got an apartment up there. And I sit down and I go, God, this is going to be great. Because whether people want to admit this or not, Minneapolis, St. Paul, Minnesota has, I think, along shoulder to shoulder with Chicago, the best news reporting in America. Do you agree with that?
I think the quality is right up there. It's hard to tell a difference, in my opinion.
Yeah. Between Chicago and Minneapolis, St. Paul, you mean?
Yeah, for
I
sure.
would go with that. But the rest of them, so I'm excited. I'm like, oh my God, I'm in New York City watching the local news. It was horrendous. Got some wonderful news for you this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think, sissy? Boy, yeah, that's a nice outfit. It's like, oh my God, this news is horrendous. It was terrible.
Was he a croaker? I was like, that's right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, this guy got shot to death on Fifth Avenue. That's too bad, huh? What do you think, Billy? Jesus. I mean, compared to Minneapolis and St. Paul, their news in New York. Now, I don't know. I haven't been there in I've been overnight in New York, but haven't stayed in New York for a long time. So maybe it's better now, but it was terrible back then. And also, the very first newscast I saw in Palm Beach, Florida, 27 years ago. He was a good news guy, but I don't know who did his intro. Now, did they do an intro with you? And now it's time for the news with Chris Egert. Blah, blah, blah. And
we've
blah, blah,
gone
blah.
in and out of those things over the years.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have them, sometimes we don't.
The reason I even bring that up is a guy's name. He's no longer around, but he's a really good newsman. But his name was Kurt Fonger. Fonger. Fonger was his last name, which I would have changed.
Yeah.
That's not
because, of course, everybody down in that area called him Mother Fonger. What a shock. You know, how did that ever happen?
Can't really blame him on that.
He was good, but his intro was horrendous. And now, time for the news with Kurt Fonger. It's like, what are you trying to scare me? What the hell was that? He was good, though. He retired several years ago.
Kurt Fonger. I'll have to look that up. That's funny.
Kurt Fonger. You got to do that. When you
I don't have the wood to do that in my voice, Tom.
You don't have the growl. You got to have a growl in there.
Nope.
In any case, so what is new in the news? Anything good?
Well, yes. In some ways, the cold weather that we've had over the last several days, it's been really good for all of our outdoor winter sports and things that really had been, trying to go on. The pond hockey tournament's able to start this weekend, which was, if you guys think back, it was like 2 weeks ago, there was open water on Lake Nokomis, which is insane.
Yeah.
So the fact that they've been able to get that going is good news. I know that we're talking to Lutzen today. They got a bunch of snow. So again, what might be annoying to those of us who don't necessarily love it to be cold.
Right.
It is super good news for all these businesses who have been waiting for this for quite some time to finally start, being able to get some people coming in.
It is a nice thing. There's no question about that. Doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of negative news going on in Minneapolis, St. Paul. That's good.
We had I think our top story today was about fentanyl. The feds were saying that Minneapolis, St. Paul area is just a really bad fentanyl problem right now, and more so than any of the surrounding states, which is not really surprising when you consider the states that are surrounding Minnesota as far as a urban center type situation. But so that we did have that today for our top story. There's some ridiculous amount of like 500,000 fentanyl pills that they seized in the last year,
man.
Which is insane. And of course, my brain goes to, did somebody have to count all of those?
But one by one. Yeah, it's all. Now, do you think two things? It's an urban area. What, 5.5 million people live in Minnesota? Is that about right? Not all in the metro, but metro's what, about 3.3 million? Or something?
It's somewhere around 3-4, yeah.
3-4, yeah. So there you go. So you got all those people, plus Minnesota, Minneapolis, St. Paul in particular, is one of the wealthiest urban areas in all of America. You know, as a person-to-person basis. Now, obviously, there's a lot of other revenues and stuff coming into Los Angeles and New York and Chicago and all the rest. But as far as a town of its size, Minneapolis and St. Paul have a lot of money. And one of the things they're going to buy is drugs. That's just how it goes.
Yeah, and it's always been sort of the train of thought that the drugs came up from Chicago. It's kind of a pipeline there. And anyway, we had that for our top story today, which is, you hear more and more about these fentanyl deaths. And we talked to the drug addiction agencies, and they're like, half the people we have coming in right now, it's fentanyl problems, and it's but that's obviously very depressing. The state legislature is talking about legalizing sports betting. Again, that's coming up. That was a big hot topic last year. It's Republican Senator Jeremy Miller introduced a proposal yesterday. So I think the goal is to send half of the money to local charities. So
okay. Well, when I was down in Florida, they're going through that themselves right now, because the Hard Rock I guess it's right between Fort Lauderdale and Miami, kind of.
Yep.
Or it's kind of mostly Fort Lauderdale, though.
Yeah.
They're going big time on the fact you can do sports betting now. It's the only place in Florida you can bet sports is that casino. Isn't that amazing?
It's it's just, there's so much money involved in the whole situation. It's of course, historically the tribes have been against it in Minnesota, because it's a big revenue stream for them too. So I guess we'll see how it all plays out again this year. And I haven't seen the legislation proposed yet, but I can guarantee you, as the legislature gets kicked up here, we're going to be seeing something against that flag. I guarantee it.
I guarantee it. Yeah, it's a terrible flag. I mean, it's so boring.
That's happening as sure as I'm sitting here.
Now, AJ, Chris wanted me to ask you a question. He was going to ask you, but then he said, "Yeah, it'd be better if Tom asked you."
Okay.
Do you still have a hard time getting cocaine in town?
I have no idea what you're talking about, Tom.
We just thought he'd pawn it off on you. That's what we. No, is cocaine even around anymore? You never hear about it anymore. You used to hear about it all the time, like in the 80s.
I've never seen it, but I live a pretty sheltered life these days.
I've never seen it. You're around news, TV, and radio people. Don't lie to me.
Nah, I never have, and I think I'm told it's around, but I have no idea.
Yeah, I did once, and it was nothing. I didn't feel anything. I did cocaine once in my life. It wasn't in Minnesota, so you can't arrest me. But nothing happened. Is it because I'm already nuts?
Probably. I mean,
I knew you'd.
It probably mellowed you out, if anything.
Wait, no.
That's a possibility. I got all mellowed out being high on cocaine.
You're like, wow, this is not the effect I'd hoped for.
I've never felt calmer in my life.
I'm gonna go take a nap
with my hands steady as a rock.
You guys might be right about that. All right, Chris, thanks for ruining my morning. I appreciate it.
Yeah, sorry. I'll let you know, Tom, if I come across any coke in the next couple of days.
Yeah, please do. Let me know what's going on, all right?
All right, bye, guys.
All right, Pally, we'll talk to you later. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a break. Be right back. Just a couple minutes. More coming up next.
You know the song Kokomo? It's supposed to be off the Florida Keys, right? Hate to break your Beach Boys bubble, but that's a fictitious place they made up for the song. Fortunately for the rest of us, the Florida Keys island chain are as real as the taxes you have to pay in Minnesota if you're a resident. Now that's a reason to move south. In addition to Florida and all of Monroe County being beautiful, the Keys from Key Largo to Key West are even more beautiful. is Tom Barnard, part-time Florida resident myself. And if you want a second house or a new retirement home or want to become a Floridian, may I suggest you contact Matt Carlson from One Key West Realty. Matt grew up in Litchfield. He's a super real estate agent when it comes to finding your tropical island space in the Keys. He lives there and here, and Matt knows what's best in Key West to buy for your second home in Florida. Matt teamed up with fellow Minnesotan from Sartell and Alexandria, Kristyn Eklund, who's one of the top mortgage brokers in the country from Coast to Coast Mortgage. She'll get you the financing you need to buy a home in Florida or in Minnesota. Matt's part of the Lake Sotheby's International Realty Group here in Minnesota, and Kristyn, his mortgage colleague, lives and works in the Keys, so they both know the Florida Keys' new and existing homes for sale and are Minnesotan through and through. Contact them by heading to onekeywest.com. That's onekeywest.com.
Hello, I'm Brad Huckle, President and Chief Lending Officer at North American Banking Company.
And I'm Michael Bilski, CEO at North American Banking Company.
As a locally owned and operated community bank, we work with many multi-generational businesses.
Take personal care dentistry of Roseville, for example. Dr. Walter Hunt, also known as Painless to me, has been a longtime customer of the bank since we opened the bank in 1998.
When his son Kyle was ready to join the practice, they wanted to expand quickly.
With their additional space and equipment, they now are able to see more patients each day while providing the same level of care and service.
Okay, guys, I'll take it from here. If you run a family business or any kind of business for that matter, you should be banking with Brad and Mike over at North American Banking Company. Every time I deal with them or their team, I know I'm working with experienced professional bankers. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
Tom here, and I want to discuss a partnership that has been wonderful in my life, Zero Res Carpet Care. Very good friends of mine. Nothing is better to someone with a family than having a completely clean home. Your carpet is the biggest filter in your house. If you want to talk about pet dander or foot traffic, dirt from the outside, they all eventually reside in your carpet. So, Zero Res Carpet Care. Listen, around the holidays, you need to contact ZeroResMinnesota.com or call 952-ZEROREZ. That's 952-ZERO-RES. They clean your home with their electrolyzed pH elevated water that doesn't use chemicals or soaps that smell like a janitor's closet like other cleaning services. How about a Tom Barnard deal? Well, here it is. Get 3 rooms, 0 resified, starting at $129, and don't forget your air ducts. Mention me, and they'll discount your air vents by $75 too. This is for the entire month, so call them right now, 952-0-RES, backward or forward, spells the same, or book online, ZeroResMinnesota.com. If it's available, ask for them to come to your place in the Tom Barnard named service truck. What an honor that was, by the way. Just mention me by name and get the special deal to get your home clean and your heart happy. Zero Res Carpet.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Remember when it used to do that?
Yeah, I think that's the next break.
We get that going, man. I think this is a brilliant, brilliant move. A bar renamed itself The Gym. Now, why would a bar rename itself The Gym?
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to the gym. Got my gym bag.
I feel like
get a little workout in.
I remember, and this is a way back in the day. There was a bar I want to say was called the Library.
Yep, it was in Dinkytown.
Yes.
Yep.
So it's like, yeah, you know what are you reading at the library? Oh, you know, I Jack and the Beanstalk, and that was like some green martini or whatever.
Yeah. When I first moved to Minneapolis, I had a friend that lived over in Dinkytown. He was, hey, you want to meet up with a bunch of us? We're going to the library. And I was like, yeah, I'm good on going to the library at 9:00 at night. And he's like, no, it's a bar over at Dinkytown. Like, yeah, okay, cool.
Fantastic. A bar renamed itself The Gym to keep your New Year's resolutions intact. I'm going to the gym.
I love that's top tier like marketing strategy.
Yeah. Well, there was I forget where it was. There was a bar that they renamed all of their drinks and food to office supplies. So that way they did it for a day. And they're like, now you can expense this, beer that you want to drink because you're drinking a stapler instead of whatever.
Okay.
So I love the loopholes.
Oh, no. This next story, luckily for you, that you're so youthful, so you don't really have this problem. A study found man boobs can be deadly. Does that mean you're so severely overweight that you have titties that you might have a heart attack? Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, I'd be curious as to why they're deadly as opposed to just, naturally being overweight. But
yeah.
All right, Tevin, let me get to that story. I'm Kurt Funger with the news. What do you think?
I like it.
Are you a middle-aged man with an impressive set of... Now, how am I supposed to get through this story?
Oh, I gotta know. No, hold on. Can we guess before you read it? Tevin, what do you think the next word is? What is the? Are you? A middle-aged
I think
man?
they definitely go with an impressive set of man boobs. I think they just say.
Oh, see, I want to say like tatas or something like that.
Ooh, I like that though.
Okay, here's the line. Are you a middle-aged man with an impressive set of knockers?
That feels
So you
late.
had the idea, though.
Yeah.
You had the idea. Yeah, it's not a problem. Well, tough news, I'm afraid. Those man boobs might kill you someday. A study out of the University of Copenhagen found men with boobs, or moobs, yeah, I've heard that before. Hey, that guy's got moobs. Yep. Are at a 37% higher risk for early death before the age of 75. Wait a minute. I hope I don't have any man boobs.
Yeah, and I wonder, how big? Does it matter what cup size your man boobs are that increase or decrease your?
I think that's a good question. I would like to know that myself. Gynecomastia is what it's called, gynecomastia. The good news is just having them, because you're overweight doesn't count. It only applies to men with a condition called gynecomastia, excuse me. It's when a hormone imbalance causes enlarged breast tissue. Yeah, see, if your hormones are imbalanced, that's not good news.
Okay. So they're talking about actual man boobs, not what everybody just jokes around and will say to everybody that they say has man boobs. Okay. That makes sense.
No question about it. Every time I hear the word boobs, I get, what the hell is his name again? That used to be on Saturday Night Live. Charlie, what the?
Charlie Murphy?
Not Charlie Murphy. Who the hell am I thinking? It doesn't matter. No, I'll move on. If I think of it, I'll get back to you.
Okay.
So in any case, the bad news is you could have the bad version and not know it. Gynecomastia. You might have it and you don't even know it. Experts aren't sure, but think it could affect between 1/3 and 2/3 of men on some level. That's not true.
I don't know enough men then, I guess, because I don't think I know anybody with man boobs. I think they're talking about.
I feel like when it's that wide of an this is not a well-known thing. I feel like, and when it's that well impacted on such a large field of people, sure, it might impact you, but I want to know of that 1/3 or 2/3, what percentage of that is actually harmful? Because you get some people have a limp, but not everybody has a limp that stops them from doing stuff.
Yeah,
This last line in the story confuses me because I don't really understand this. I had never heard this before.
Yeah.
The hormone imbalance can happen at any age but tends to peak during puberty? No.
That just seems like common knowledge.
Yeah, that would make sense, I think. It's as your puberty and hormones are naturally changing, so if you have this imbalance, it will, I guess, accelerate.
Puberty's what, 11, 12? When is puberty?
Yeah, right about there. 11, 12, 13.
I never knew one kid at St. Anne's when I was 11 or 12 years old that had titties. Not one of them.
No.
So what are they? What?
Yeah, this is somebody is trying to probably raise some money to study this, and they need to make people more aware and make it sound worse than it is.
Might be a little cash on the barrel head. That's what you're talking. Oh, by the way, I'm glad you brought that up because I do have to do my my daily news report from the TV news. This is going to shock you guys, but apparently, according to CNN, Donald Trump is a psychopath who's going to ruin America. And then on Fox News, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but our president is a psychopath who's going to ruin America. So I don't know where we're going.
I'm absolutely shocked.
Oh my God.
Absolutely. I mean, have you watched any of the national news in the last week?
No, not recently. I've turned it off after seeing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
They have lost their minds. I mean, CNN, all they're doing is battling it out for advertising dollars. This has nothing to do with the news.
No.
They want to make money off of your misery is what they want. And it's both of them. It's all of them, actually. But honest to God, you see things on there, it's like, oh, this is the end. If that psychopath takes over, it's going to destroy the world. And oh, my God. Yeah, are things going really great right now? When's the last time things were going really great? That's what I'd like to know.
2007.
So it's been a while.
It's been a while.
So it's been a while. It's only 17 years, though.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think. It was 2007, by the way. We had a really good year that year. And then 2008, the economy nearly collapsed, if you remember. But, I don't know. I can only watch it for like 2 minutes at a time because it says, these people over there are just horrible. They're the worst human beings on earth. Oh, my God, it's terrible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are a lot of terrible people out there, like, and in every government. Like, there's do you remember the one MDB scandal out of Malaysia where their prime minister stole $5.6 billion with his Chinese friend? A couple years ago.
Gave some of that to me. Don't bring that up.
Ixnay on the steel.
There's a great documentary it's called The Man on the Run that's on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
That dives into it and just how they essentially said, hey, we're going to make the city great. And then he paid Britney Spears $1 million to jump out of a birthday cake.
I remember.
And all this stuff. And it was like, just so brazen. So if you give anybody even just a little bit of money, they're going to lose their mind.
Well, plus I'm glad you mentioned Britney Spears because she's very even keel too. Hell of a talent. I mean, the woman's got a lot of talent, but is that her dad that drove her nuts?
Yeah, her dad really did a number on her. And now that she's, I guess, free from her conservatorship or whatever it was, she'll post a lot on social media. And you can just tell that, she was messed up by her family severely.
No question. Did you text back, hit me, baby, one more time?
Yeah, I think that has a new meaning now that you see the whole Britney saga play out.
Yeah. Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
All right, we got to take a break. We'll be right back in a couple of minutes. Very special guest, Aunjanue Ellis-Taylor, will join us right after this.
Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC has a mutiny on his hands. His sales crew said they've had it brooming snow off the new Buicks and GMCs, then warm them up, move them to plow, and repark them again. He even overheard them cooking up an alternative plan, a sale.
This is crazy. Why don't we just mark them down and sell them? This is getting real old to be out on that lot in this sub-zero weather. That's right. Everyone we sell is one less to broom. I heard we're supposed to get 6 more inches tomorrow. I'm 5'6". How am I supposed to get the snow off the roof of a pickup?
I'm Jim Paul, and while car dealers do have all kinds of crazy sales, this idea probably makes more sense than most. There's plenty of inventory, so okay, the crew has decided.
So then it's official. The We Don't Want to Broom snow sale is in full force at Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley and Hastings. Snowy inventory priced real right at valleycardealers.com.
You know the song Kokomo? It's supposed to be off the Florida Keys, right? Hate to break your Beach Boys bubble, but that's a fictitious place they made up for the song. Fortunately for the rest of us, the Florida Keys island chain are as real as the taxes you have to pay in Minnesota if you're a resident. Now that's a reason to move south. In addition to Florida and all of Monroe County being beautiful, the Keys from Key Largo to Key West are even more beautiful. This is Tom Barnard, part-time Florida resident myself. And if you want a second house or a new retirement home or want to become a Floridian, may I suggest you contact Matt Carlson from One Key West Realty. Matt grew up in Litchfield. He's a super real estate agent when it comes to finding your tropical island space in the Keys. He lives there and here, and Matt knows what's best in Key West to buy. For your second home in Florida, Matt teamed up with fellow Minnesotan from Sartell and Alexandria, Kristyn Eklund, who's one of the top mortgage brokers in the country from Coast to Coast Mortgage. She'll get you the financing you need to buy a home in Florida or in Minnesota. Matt's part of the Lake Sotheby's International Realty Group here in Minnesota, and Kristyn, his mortgage colleague, lives and works in the Keys, so they both know the Florida Keys' new and existing homes for sale and are Minnesotan through and through. Contact them by heading to onekeywest.com. That's onekeywest.com.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings 8 to 9:30 or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at TomBarnardShow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
God, Amy, settle down. You kind of had to work a lot there. What happened? You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
Amy Daniels, the one that does all the voiceover for this show. Let me know when Aunjanue is ready to go, if you would.
Yeah, we're all set.
We're good to go now?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Aunjanue Ellis-Taylor, how are you, Aunjanue?
I'm all right. How you doing?
You're only all right. We're going to make your day a lot better because after you leave here, it's going to be a lot better than all right. What do you think?
You know what? It's already better than all right because I am talking to somebody from Minneapolis, and I'm really excited about that.
Have you ever been here?
I haven't, and I can't wait to come.
All right, well, all right, just reach it. We'll give you directions on all the good stuff, where to go, what to do. Is there a lot of pressure on you being named Aunjanue? Because there's a certain loving innocence about Aunjanue. Obviously, it's what it kind of means. Are you overwhelmingly innocent and sweet? That's what it means, Aunjanue.
Did I just laugh really loud?
Yes, you did. Absolutely.
Did I do that? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Well, I will tell you something, Aunjanue. You just made my day because I love hearing people laugh when they come on the show. Her new film by Ava DuVernay, Origin, releases in theaters Friday, January 19th. That is tomorrow. Written and directed by Academy Award winner Ava DuVernay. Origin chronicles the tragedy and triumph of Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Isabel Wilkerson as she investigates a global phenomenon of epic proportions. I would like to shut up here and just hear this from you, Aunjanue. So what is it all about?
Yeah, well, the film directed by Ava DuVernay is based on the book Cast that was written by Pulitzer Prize winner Isabel Wilkerson. And really what Cast is, just in really short terms, is a big, vast idea, but it is how we divide ourselves in putting people in the highest high on the totem pole and low on the totem pole. These structures of people who are who dominate, who are in the subordinate caste, and people who are in the higher caste. And she is saying that these divisions that we put on ourselves and these really artificial ways, that we need to break out of that in order to have a more healthier life, more fair life here in this country and around the world.
Do you think that everybody is given an even chance these days? Because I just, honestly, I got to be honest with you, I've never seen the national news and people who lead the parties more negative and ornery than they've ever been. I just don't see how that serves the people, Aunjanue. I don't get how, once you shut up and serve the people, if you're a politician or a news anchor or whatever, stop upsetting people. I know it drives them to watch you and you make more money, but maybe you making money's not what it's all about there, news reporter.
Yeah, no, I can't watch the news because I had to make a choice years ago for my health, for my mental health. I had to step away from it. I can't consume it anymore. I think what you said is very much driven. It's consumer driven, but the consumers are the people who are buying the airtime. It doesn't necessarily have to to the people who are watching it. I think it's not healthy. It's not healthy.
Do you think people will understand that someday, that you're only being used, your sadness or anger or whatever? They're just using you to make money. Don't get upset over that. First of all, just last night I tuned to one of the channels. Well, here's what I did, Aunjanue, last night. I tuned in CNN and found out that Donald Trump was the worst human being ever born. And then I tuned in Fox and found out, no, that's not true. It's Biden who's the worst human being ever born. I mean, it's like, you can't get away from it. It's like, would you calm down?
Yeah. And I think, Avi, I think that's what this book is about. It's what this film is about. It's all of that, all of these divisions that we have that are not just in this country, that, the film and the book connects how we are connected. These divisions, our divisions here are connected to the divisions in India, the divisions that they use to make the Holocaust happen in Nazi Germany, right? And that they're driven by, now we say the media drives it, but these messages have existed all around the world for generations. And they have said, no, this person is better, that person is worse, this person is better, and that has existed throughout our existence here on this planet. And as you said, it does nothing but tear us apart.
Right.
Nothing but tear us apart.
Aunjanue, you think there is a way maybe we can start to come together again? I remember I'm of the age where I was a teenager in the 1960s, and we tried, apparently, as a country to come together, and instead what happened from 67, 68, and 69, about 5 of our national leaders were murdered. The neighborhood I grew up in North Minneapolis, Plymouth Avenue, was burned to the ground. And I mean the entire avenue from the Mississippi River all the way to the city border. It was burned to the ground. I hope we don't have to go through that again, Aunjanue, because it was hard. Man, it was hard.
Yeah, I feel like the great thing about this film, it doesn't offer answers. It doesn't offer answers. But what it says is we got to talk about it. We got to talk about it. And I think that, and I think what I feel that both what I think particularly that Ava DuVernay did, our visionary director, is she found the thing that brings us together. And the thing that brings us together is love and loss. That no matter who you are, no matter what you look like, no matter what part of the caste system that you're in, all of us experience love and all of us experience loss. That is the great thing that combines us, that unifies us. And I think coming together to watch this film puts us all at this place where we are connected and can talk about it and see that we're all on this rock, and that if we don't do something different, we're going to destroy ourselves. And I think the film offers an opportunity. It doesn't offer answers, but it offers an invitation and an opportunity for discussion.
See, I think that's wonderful. I wish people would understand, given a chance. Well, look, very quickly, Aunjanue, I grew up in North Minneapolis. The neighborhood was Catholic, Black, and Jewish. That's what the neighborhood was where I grew up. And to this day, when I do an interview with the media or whatever, particularly newspapers, they always have to put in there, he's got this really kind of angry, ornery edge to him. Yeah, well, it's where I grew up. I'm going to have that with me the rest of my life. You may as well get used to it. No, I don't go after people and, beat them up or anything like that. But it's funny that they like to point out the fact, because I grew up in it was a very violent neighborhood, very, very poor people, and you carry that with you the rest of your life. And I wish people would understand this is not a skin color thing. You're going to carry your neighborhood with you for the rest of your life, so everybody should get over that, right?
Right, yeah. And I think that's what, that is essentially what caste is that it is not about skin color.
Right.
It's something. It's a bigger. It's a more broad idea than that. In the inception of this country, and the folks who wanted to establish and maintain power, they had to have, in order to do that, they had to have somebody who was less than they were. Right.
Yep.
So they had to choose something. had to choose something. It could have been anything. It could have been knee size. It could have been ear size. It could have been height. It could have been anything. But they chose race.
Yeah, they did.
And this has carried on for generations and generations and generations, and colorism has become a part of it. There are all these offshoots, but essentially it is about how a power system is kept in place and these divisions that needs for it to survive.
Look at you being all honest and trying to teach people things. I really appreciate your time today, Aunjanue. You got to come to town and come in and do the show. That's all there is to it.
I would love that. I am so excited to, one of my favorite things ever in life was Prince, and I know you hear that all the time, but I just, it's a little bit of a mecca for me, and I haven't been able to get there yet, but I will. I look forward to it.
Okay, Aunjanue, I'll close with this. My entire conversation I had with Prince many years ago, Prince was walking toward me. I was walking toward him. As I went by, he looked at me and went, "Hi." That was our whole conversation, Aunjanue. So you'd love it. That's all I'm having to say. You are a terrific guest.
You remember that. You remember that conversation, right? You never.
Oh yeah. Just like I'm going to remember this conversation, Aunjanue. You're a hell of a guest, and you need to. Yeah, you got to get to town. There's no question about it.
I would love it.
All right, my dear. Have a great day.
You too. Y'all take care.
Bye. Aunjanue Ellis-Taylor. God, have you seen her picture?
Yeah, when Art sent the press release over, I was looking at her pictures. I was like, I know her from somewhere, and she was like one of the main characters in this TV show I used to love called Quantico. And so I was like, oh my gosh, that's freaking amazing.
Sure.
Like,
she's terrific. Have you ever seen The Express?
Yes,
the Ernie Davis story.
That one. Oh yeah.
Yeah, she plays the mom in that. She was just Brandy Williams in King Richard, the Serena and Venus Williams story.
Yep.
But she's been in so much. I didn't know she was in The Help.
The Help. She was in Pelham, The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3 with Denzel Washington. Yeah.
So she was in Ray. I mean, the range on her is so impressive.
I have a question. How old is she? Because I'm looking at a picture. She looks like she's about 22.
Let me see here.
I mean, she's a very pretty woman. There's no question about that. But she looks very young in all the pictures.
54.
54.
Well, she's a young-looking 54. I'll tell you that. There's no question. Yeah, what a nice person. See, I've never talked to her before in my life, but that's what I love. One of my joys in life is to talk to people I've never met and learn all about them. And don't you guys think that's a little odd that a white guy who came out of North Minneapolis is not, he needs our help or he needs a leg up and, very poor and all that stuff. If you're a white guy, it's like, oh, he's just an ornery prick.
Well, yeah, I hear people say you're pretty ornery, so.
Yeah, and it's going to get worse now that you brought it up, you pill. I said you're a pill. That's all I'm saying. All right, we'll take a break. Be right back. The ornery Kristyn Burtt will be up right after this.
This is Bob Sansevier, and I want to tell you about Dave Bialke from Bialke Law. Dave represented my wife, Mary, when she had a significant workplace injury. She was very happy with the job Dave did. If you have a work-related injury and have Dave represent you, I'm betting you'll be happy too. Dave is a down-to-earth guy. He grew up in northern Minnesota, rides a Harley, and worked various jobs doing concrete, electrical, plumbing, roofing, and carpentry work. Dave works for people with work-related injuries. If you work construction, or anywhere for that matter, and you're hurt or even just hurting, you should talk to Dave. Let's face it, our bodies wear out. If your body is worn out from work, if your knees or back or shoulders hurt from things you do at work, do what Mary did. Call Dave and talk to him about it at Bialke Law to set up a free initial consultation. The number to call is 763-571-2410. That's 763-571-2410. Or visit bialkelaw.com. That's BIALKE law.com.
Before you head back to one of the big box stores for your hunting and shooting needs this season, do yourself a favor and visit My Choice, K&L Surplus and Ammo in Lino Lakes. Not only does K&L have one of the widest selections of firearms and ammo in the Twin Cities, they also do business the right way. They want to make sure that you have the right firearm and the right ammo for your needs. Jim, the owner, has over 25 years of experience in the business, and will help you find what you need at a fair price. Speaking of prices, a lot of stores are using inflation and supply shortages as an excuse to raise prices on ammunition. Not K&L. Jim's doing everything to hold the line on pricing so you can spend more time on the range. Find out for yourself why K&L Surplus and Ammo has been the choice of gun owners for over 25 years. Go in and chat with Jim in person at the store on Lake Drive in Lino Lakes or online at klgunstore.com. klgunstore.com. Why should your business bank with North American Banking Company? Here's Landon and Gavin Miller of D&B Plating.
I've always been impressed with their speed of answers to our questions, and that has allowed us to expand and capitalize on opportunities in the market.
North American Banking Company has never made us feel like a number. They've always treated us as a partner.
For more information about North American Banking Company, go to nabankco.com or stop by any one of their Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
The new Tom Barnard Show is proud to have partners like Bradshaw and Bryant, MyPillow, and North American Banking Company founder, chairman, and president, Mike Bilski.
I've advertised on Tom's show for years, and the reason is simple. My business is recognized because of the ads, and that recognition has created growth. What business doesn't want to grow? I highly recommend the Tom Barnard Morning Show for your advertising.
Grow results for your business by partnering with the Tom Barnard Show. Visit tombarnardshow.com, keyword partner. This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
Boom. I'm going to do my own booms from now on. Ladies and gentlemen, I just got a call. We've set a record now. As soon as Kristyn talks, that was the best half hour for very attractive, smart, and lovely women. So Aunjanue Ellis-Taylor and now Kristyn Burtt. Apparently the best half hour in the history of podcasting. That's what I heard.
Guinness Book of World Records. We got it.
That's what I heard.
That's the rumor.
That's the rumor right there, ladies and gentlemen. Kristyn Burtt Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabankco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. See, now we've broken the record. We got Aunjanue Ellis-Taylor, we got Kristyn Burtt, and the lovely and talented Mike Bilski. So what do you think?
That's the trifecta is, I think, what we
It's the trifecta. That's exactly what it is. There's no question about it. Kristyn, Catherine and I have been watching The World, what is it, The World According to Six Glasses, or The World, it's the new...
Yeah, you were talking about all the beverages, that one?
Yeah, it's all different drinks, beer, whiskey, wine, all of it. And it's all the old Saturday Night Live guys that are on it. Kevin Nealon was on it last night and was funny. He's talking to Dan Aykroyd and he's talking to Jim Belushi. And he goes, I kind of feel bad for you guys because Saturday Night Live was a lot better when I was on it.
That's great.
I thought
but
it was
the
wonderful.
callback, see, this is the callback to our conversation yesterday. We still need Saturday Night Live so that, 50 years from now, we still have the Dan Aykroyds, and that it's important. I understand, like, the show isn't what, but I go back and watch the 70s, version. And I'm like, was that really funny? But it was funny at the time, and I think that that's what we just have to remember.
That's good. And I just wish they wouldn't get so political. And if you're going to get political, be political on both sides, not just one. Right?
I think that they've pulled back because
Good.
the audience got tired from it. We'll see what
I
happens because we are in an election year. But I've noticed, like, in general, people are exhausted. And I think some of the wonderful things about the award shows the past week or so, week and a half, there weren't many political speeches. People just kind of leaned into gratitude of, like, people that helped them along the way. And you know what? People like emotion. People like to see you cry when you win an award.
Well, the thing about it is, a woman that we talked about yesterday that played the piano and teared up and sang Hallelujah or whatever the hell the song was.
Kate McKinnon.
Kate McKinnon, yeah. That was the worst moment of television life. It's like, woman, you're a clown on a Saturday night TV show. I don't give a rat's ass what you think.
Tom, I am literally going to tease you about that to the end of time because
You are.
love it. You love to hate it. And you know what? You drive people to watch it. It makes me go, let me
That's
go
all I
watch
ever
it
do
one
is-
more time.
Favors for them. That's all I ever do is have favors. They don't do any favors
Have you
for
on
me.
the payroll? I don't know.
You know what I did discover, though, recently? Several years ago, Dan Aykroyd came in and did a 5-hour show with me over at the Q. And he was one of the nicest guys I'd ever met in my entire life. Just a great guy. He was there to promote his vineyard because he's making a bunch of wine. Dan Aykroyd's wine cellar or whatever it is, right? So he's in there for 5 hours, and he gives me, Tom, thanks for all your time today. Love the show, Dan Aykroyd, right? Well, about 3 months ago, I'm going through some stuff, and I see the bottle. Somebody had opened it and had a couple of glasses of the wine. Now,
was it good though? Because at a certain
have
point, wine does turn.
Yeah, usually if it's like a couple days, you're probably just dump the bottle out.
Oh, you mean once it's open?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And you
got
shouldn't
that
let
right.
it sit for a super long time either, like years and years and years. Sometimes
Mhm.
that can also not be
Depends.
great. Depend on the type of wine.
It does indeed. I mean, they've taken some wine out of that's been buried during World War II, and it was still phenomenal. You know, because buildings fell
You
in on
save the
themselves.
bottle, the signed bottle.
We still have the bottle, but it's only about half full, and I'm sure the wine's probably not very good at this point.
Yeah, dump the wine and just save the bottle. Like
That's
I
what
have an etched bottle of champagne from the Emmys a few years ago. We didn't
See?
drink it. I'm sure the champagne is probably bad. We never opened it, but
Mm-hmm.
the bottle is so pretty and it's a souvenir and it's worth something. So we're just like, we'll keep it.
And did you ask me if I was going to drink it?
No, I wouldn't drink it at this point. And you
Well, I
wouldn't
don't
drink it.
I don't
know.
drink, so that might be part of it. You know, we were just talking about the fact that I've got this image as being kind of an ornery, crabby guy.
Mm-hmm.
You should have known me when I drank. What do you mean? Mm-hmm. She jumps right in. Like, yes, you
Yeah,
are.
that's kind of been the common theme today. Nobody's really pushed back.
Nobody's pushed back on it at all. Yes, you're right. You're a pain
But
in the
like
ass.
being like a little curmudgeonly is part of your charm, Tom.
Oh, is it? Well, I wouldn't know that. See, it's just who I am and all the rest of it. But
You know, what's
yeah.
that meme? Guy yells at the sky.
Man yelling at cloud.
I do love that. I love that kind of stuff.
Tom, that's you. But it's like we say it with like a heart. We're like, yay.
No, I just, once again, I was telling Aunjanue Ellis-Taylor, where I grew up, this is how everybody acted. Everybody had an attitude. They were kind of ornery because you had to. If you walk down the street in North Minneapolis and went, oh, I'm real sensitive and touchy, you would have had your ass handed to you about 15 times before you even got home.
Well, New Englanders are curmudgeonly. I think it's
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
I think it's like the weather or something. I don't know, but they've always been that way. So I'm used to it.
What's so funny about that is I've gotten about 8,000 calls. You got to be the only person I've ever heard that loves Boston and the people. I love the people
That
in
is
Boston.
rude. We are lovely.
We're lovely people.
We are lovely.
But I do.
don't
I
know if
love
lovely is how you would describe it, but we would say we're wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome. That's a good way to
Wicked
put
awesome.
it. You're wicked awesome. I love the town. It's fantastic. And again, very quickly, because I know you got a work to do here. A lobster roll taken out of that bay and brought to your table about 15 feet away is nothing compares to that.
And it'll also be a lot cheaper than anywhere else. By
Oh,
the
yeah.
way,
Oh, yeah.
my $75 lobster here in Los Angeles is probably about $20 or less
Yep.
in Maine or Boston.
Oh God, it's a wonder. And the people. Well, again, in Philadelphia, good afternoon, officer. Yeah, right. So
it's
Philadelphia's got a little.
They've been under. They just had 2 really big storms and a lot of flooding along the coastline. So
Right,
I am just
right.
sending my love to everyone. I
Yep.
was looking at, we used to live up in Maine in the summers, and that area just got demolished up in Kennebunk and Kennebunkport, and I'm just thinking of everyone. So sad.
Yep, it is a tough road home.
It
Boy,
is.
it's been kind of an interesting winter so far, has it not? Everybody was toasty and nice and warm, and all of a sudden it's 20 below. It's like, Jesus.
It was 59 here yesterday, and I know everyone's gonna be like 59, blah, blah, but understand for California,
Cry
that
me a
is
river.
very. I know, cry me a river, but we're not prepared for like 59 and below, and that's a daytime temperature. At nighttime, when it drops to the 30s, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I will throw on my heat in my uninsulated house.
I thought it was like 38 degrees there the other night.
Yeah, it gets cold. It does get cold. I know we're such
That's
weather
chilly.
wimps.
All right, so what's the name of that show again? The history of alcohol and whatever the hell the name of it is.
Like
It's on
World
Fox
History in
Nation.
6 drinks or something.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, something like that. But it's a really good show. And I suppose maybe it's because I adored those guys, every one of them. And I told Catherine this. I've gotten to the point in my life now, whenever I watch anything, I've met most of the people that are in things now, unless it's very young actors. It's kind of nice to tune in. There's Dan Aykroyd and Jim Belushi and Kevin Nealon and I was going to remind Kevin Nealon of what he said once, the first time he was ever on the morning show, which he would never, ever, ever say in this era. That was about when he was on Saturday Night Live, what, about 25 years ago, something like that? 20 years ago?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably longer than that, because 1990 was over 30 years ago. So.
Was he before?
Well, that's a very
Will
good
Ferrell?
point.
Because he was probably in the 80s, right? Or
He was before Will Ferrell, yeah.
Yeah, so it's probably like 40 years ago.
40
now.
years ago. Jeez.
But I can't tell you what he said on the air because he'd get roasted for it if I told you what it was now.
Okay, don't tell us then.
I will not say, because I don't want him to run
Don't do it.
But he would never say that these days.
Okay,
No way.
just don't do it though. Don't
I'm
say
not
it.
gonna-
Don't
no,
repeat
no,
it.
no,
Okay.
I'm not
okay.
going to. No way. And he didn't mean harm to anyone, but people would be offended by what he said. There's no doubt about it. And he didn't mean to be offensive. He was just trying to be funny. I thought it was
Yeah,
good.
he's a comedian, so he gets a pass, and especially if it was back in the day, times were different. You could say, get away.
Yeah, times have changed. Our humor has changed.
Good guy. In any case, so we're running across all these shows now. Catherine, Catherine's really good at tracking down good shows.
Yeah, and there's a lot coming back right now tonight. Last night we were talking about all the Chicago Med, Chicago PD. You've got all of the Law and Orders coming back. It's NBC is like dumping all of their franchises, but it's like SVU and Law and Order, the original one, and Organized Crime. So I'm just happy some of these shows are coming back. It was a tough year for scripted television. So everyone's going to have some of their favorite shows back.
That is a good thing. And I love the guy who's the head cop on Chicago PD because he kind of talks like this the whole time. And he's got the worst voice I've ever heard, but I love it for some reason.
You got a raspy voice too. You got like a low, like gravelly voice.
Don't talk to me.
You know who likes low gravelly voices? My cat London. That's what she likes.
London.
Our
Where
vet
are you,
has
London?
the same low gravelly voice. And so I was like, that's a thing with her.
Then you got that country singer who's got a low voice, but it's not gravelly at all. He's doing like Wounded Warriors right now or something. What the hell? Travis, what is it? He's a country singer.
Travis
Trace
I think-
Atkins.
Trace Atkins. Yeah, there
Trace
you go.
Atkins, because I was like, Travis Tritt's not very
No,
low
it's Trace
gravelly.
Atkins.
Yeah.
That boy's got just send $19. I can't even I can't get my voice as low without being gravelly. There's no way. But in any case, a lot of great stuff on television. Now, are we going to save the movie theaters? Kristyn, I'm getting sadder by the day about movie theaters.
It's going to change. They're going to have to change. They have to pivot.
Yep.
The fact that Hollywood was too embarrassed to like promote that movie musicals were happening. And then Wonka has done great.
Right,
Mean Girls had
right.
a great weekend at the box office. People are saying like, hey, we are craving something different. We don't want constant franchises, even though Wonka's like a prequel and Mean Girls is a spinoff of a Broadway show. But understand there's still original stories in their own right and in their own universe. And that's what people are going to see. And we saw that in 2023. That theme is continuing in 2024. And I personally am hoping that it is the rebirth or the renaissance of indie film. Indie films, I feel like, comes back every 20, 25 years. We saw it in the 70s. We saw it in the 90s. It is ripe for the picking now. And Sundance is about to start this weekend. And I just think like all eyes are going to be on Sundance and some of those smaller films. One of them that I'm so excited to, by the way, Richard Simmons biopic. Did you guys hear this? Pauly Shore did a short film that is premiering on Friday about Richard Simmons and his life. There's a short clip on the internet on YouTube. You can find it. It's kind of compelling. And after it premieres on Sundance on Friday, they're dropping the entire short film on YouTube. So everyone will be able to see it. So everyone can watch it this weekend. But the hopes are to make it into a feature film. Warner Brothers owns the property. The only thing they don't have is Richard Simmons, sign off on it. He says he does not want it done.
Really?
He lives a private life, and that is that.
Yeah, so just a small hurdle to leap over. The guy that you want to make the movie about is not on board.
Not on board. But the short clip, kind of interesting. I watched it, and I honestly, it's only like a 10 or 15-second teaser, and I thought I might be on board. I'm going to watch the short film this weekend and see what I really think. But I'm always fascinated when comedians cross over into more drama. This would probably be a dramedy because Richard Simmons is a heightened character in real life anyway, but it could be an interesting turn for him.
Yeah.
You know what I loved about him? I've always liked him. He's a very, very nice guy in person, works his ass off. But every time he was going to be on the show, I knew when he got in the building. He wasn't near Studio A where I was sitting. He was in the building, and I could hear from I don't know how many stories away, Tommy, where are you? I'm like, oh my God, Rich. What a nice man. He's got a side to him, very sad side to him though too. He does.
Yeah, and I think he's still running the Comedy Store, which obviously his mom Mitzi ran for decades, and there's a legacy in comedy there. So I'm kind of hoping that this turns out to be something.
I hope so. All right, young lady, you have a magnificent day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, see you tomorrow, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kristyn Burtt Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabankco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. I do have to adjust to that. This show flies by compared to the last 40 years of my career when I did a 5-hour morning show and then a 3-hour podcast. But yeah, I love the tempo of this thing. You get to everything. It's not a lot of wasted time on this show at all. I love that. Right?
Yeah. It's nice.
Right.
It's a nice little change of pace.
Yeah. You get your news from Kristyn, Chris, Phil, or whoever else we have on, and get out.
A couple fun people join in. Like Aunjanue was fantastic today, and
Aunjanue was great.
Yeah.
She does not look 54 years old, though. I'll tell you that.
Not at all.
Did you see her press picture?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I thought she was about 18 when I looked at it. It's like, man. So she's holding up well, I guess is the best way to put it, right?
Absolutely.
All right. I can't believe the week is just one day away from being over already. I suppose when you take Monday off, that week does fly by, but we will be back tomorrow. Looking forward to it. Thanks for listening.